BSN presents Tell the True Sports Talk Radio Show. Coming back
Yes,
at you on a Thursday afternoon. We got some big things to talk about. The NFL, should they opt in or should they opt out? The top 5 fantasy wide receivers in the game. We also got to talk about the NBA's bubble. And we also got to talk about breaking news, college football teams deciding not to have a season. Eddie, man, what's up, yo? I'm on Throwback Thursday, so we throwing back with Barry Bonds today. Throwback Thursday day.
Well, my throwback is, I done took my Marshall Faulk down and put the Chiefs up, but we'll go, if you're going throwback, we just going in memory of my man Kobe Bean. We go Kobe over here.
He throwing salt in the wound, y'all. I want y'all to understand.
I'm not. That's just my.
He's throwing salt in the wound.
Where it goes.
He knows that's my guy.
Well, that's me and you.
It's so wrong, yo. It's so wrong. You gotta give me that ball, yo. I'm gonna buy it from you. I gotta get it from him. But we got a lot we can go in to talk about today, man. Thursday, Throwback Thursday. So we're gonna keep it in the throwback mode, and we actually gonna throw it back to something that's current right now. Breaking news: the COVID pandemic is going down, and everybody's been, cautious in what they're gonna do. Big conferences have decided to either shorten games or even cancel games, cancel their fall and winter seasons. But I'm gonna go look right at the breaking news that happened the other day. UConn's football team has decided to cancel their upcoming season. And the question that I have for you, Ed, do you think other teams will follow suit in canceling seasons because of the pandemic?
It's a possibility just because what team did it. UConn is a big school, known for getting a lot of recruits, known for a lot of people, wanting to come to that school. So it's definitely a possibility that other teams will follow suit, especially in college, because it's kind of a, like I said, for me, it's kind of a 50-50 thing for me, because are they still going to go to school? Or are they just going to stop playing football and still go to school? It's like we're gonna see how that go. But I think I think other teams could follow. Do I think a lot will? No. But I think another team could. I think another team.
See, I think it's all about that money. Like, it's easy to go out and say, yeah, we're gonna shut it down and not have a season and not worry about it. But I look at a team like UConn. UConn's football team is not their basketball team. You get what I'm saying? So it's like they can afford to say, you know what, we'll shut down our football season to protect players. And I get it, not to, look like I'm being ignorant towards the major issue, which is the virus. Right. But at the same time, UConn's football team is not that good. So they can get away with having a off season, quote unquote, and I'm not going to use the death penalty, because remember SMU had the death penalty and Miami was on the verge of the death penalty with their off the field allegations and issues. But to me, when you decide to shut down a season, especially in football, forget about the pandemic. When you shut down a season in football, it's going to be hard to get kids the next year after this maybe passes through to say, yo, come to our school for football purposes, because it's hard to rebuild. Everybody doesn't have a Franklin like Penn State where you can be a great recruiter and start something fresh and brand new up there and be in a marquee powerhouse conference. UConn's not in a powerhouse conference on their football schedule and their football team, and it is going to show, like, that's just my opinion.
I mean, we on the same page. It's like you said, nobody wants to come to UConn to play football. You talking basketball, different story. But they won't shut down UConn basketball.
Most definitely.
They're not going to shut that down. So that is my big gripe about it. It's like you said, it's all about money. So you don't really care about That's it. That health. It's not what you care about. You're worried about what's going to make you money. It just make you look like you care about their health, but you don't, because these same football players is going to be going to school.
Mm-hmm.
And if they're going to school, they're still hanging around everybody in school. So it's like it's damn if you do, damn if you don't.
Right. And that's why I'm looking at it like I see if it was a Florida State or Miami, one of those schools saying we shutting the program down, or no, especially in Notre Dame. As you know, Notre Dame has decided to start playing a lot of ACC. Yeah, they decided to play some ACC games to make themselves more relevant for national championship aspirations. But you go and you see a team like Notre Dame say, we're going to shut down the season. Hell no. Too much money going to be lost. They'll rather do it with no fans.
Too much TV
they'll
time.
rather do it with no fans because you got to get that money.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely got to get that money. So that's on that college football span. But before we go back into flipping some other football stuff, we got to go to the NBA. The bubble is doing its thing.
Yeah.
Shout out to Adam Silver, the best commissioner in the game.
For sure.
Man has set up the bubble, and so far, no COVID tests. Everybody's been clean bill of health so far, and it's been working. We haven't had a chance to talk since the bubble started, but we already know we had a marquee game, the first game, which was Clippers versus the Lakers. Marquee game, and that game went down to the wire, closer than I expected. Closer than I expected, though, without Lou Williams being there. But it was a good game, all in all. And in the process of having that good game, Lakers pulled it out, secured the number 1 overall seed in the Western the quote-unquote Western Conference since we're in the bubble.
Quote-unquote.
On their side of it. And then Milwaukee versus Houston. We had that big game. A lot of people remember the Harden and Greek Freak back and forth. And that's what I want to talk about before we get deep. I want to talk about that matchup right there. Harden versus Greek Freak. I think Houston showed me something in that matchup, man. And this is what I think. It showed me that, and I hate the excuse of, oh, well, he might have been worn out, because Greek was not worn out. Trust me. Greek was not worn out. The Rockets showed that if you put the ball and say, guess what, Greek? We're going to force you to shoot the basketball, because we're not going to allow you to go to the basket. They forced them to shoot late in that game, that fourth quarter. Watching that fourth quarter, and it was crazy because I'm looking at James Harden, who was guarding him most of the time. Like when they got into the one-on-one matchups, I'm like, why is Harden getting strips and steals literally on Greek Freak? I was amazed by it. Big time amazed by it.
You're supposed to be flexible for a person who's not known for defense.
Exactly.
You gotta be surprised. I was big shocked at what happened on the defensive side. But I can say this: Westbrook brings that dog out of people.
I learned how to fix it.
And this is we go to that thing of somebody who can push your team to be a certain way. And when you got a dog, when you going off an example, you don't got no other choice but to follow suit. And Harden followed suit. He was like, all right, I got to do what I can, even though Greek Freak kind of he enabled the situation by becoming the jump shooter. He should have just turned his back and then just took him to the paint, something that Greek Freak has a problem with. And the coach need to just tell him, stop trying to Euro step your way to the hole every time you get the ball. And that is why he has some more growing to do. But as far as what Houston did, Houston played their game. They shot with the most threes in like NBA history that game.
They tied it with 61.
They tied it. You live by the 3, you die by the 3, but they made it. A lot of Milwaukee players missed wide open threes that game. But overall, I think Houston just wanted it more. They wanted more, they did too. And Greek Freak showed that they wanted it more because he wasn't worn out. You know, and we're not going to keep giving him a bullshit pass. He's not going to get it anymore. It's over with giving him, oh, he tired out. No, because you got your greats, you got your Kobe's and your LeBrons and your Kyries who played 40 plus and overtime games and was like, we're not coming out.
Mm-hmm.
So no, he don't get no excuse. He just couldn't, I don't know, he just couldn't take Harden, which is funny to say because James
it's weird, right? It's weird to say that, oh, he just couldn't roll at James Harden.
Real quick, wasn't he the one who said in the All-Star game we pick on James Harden?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that was the same person who said whoever James Harden sticking, we gonna go at him.
Now, don't get me wrong, right? Don't get me wrong. I'm gonna keep saying this. I've never ever said that. It's funny, right? It's just funny to me. I've never ever said that James Harden was a slouch on defense, right? But I've watched him since going to Houston not be willing to put in the effort to play defense.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So that was my whole thing.
Got the effort not there.
Yeah, that was my whole thing. It's about I don't have to play defense because the coach doesn't want me to play defense while I'm here. You get what I'm saying? So it's like I can get away with whatever I'm doing. I've been allowed to do it for so long, I'm gonna just keep getting away with it. That's my thing on Harden. Now, I'm not saying he should have been able to lock down Greek Freak, but watching that game the other night, he didn't lock him down, but in critical moments of the game,
he locked him down.
He stopped him. Right? He stopped him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he only had 4 points in that quarter,
and that's bad coming from the MVP. Because let's be 100% honest here, he's the MVP of the league. He's the MVP this year. I know you might think LeBron because you biased, but
no, he's the
MVP.
LeBron is who I want. I know who the MVP is. It's Greek Freak.
Yeah,
Greek Freak is up for MVP of the league. You can't deny a person who's up for Defensive Player of the Year and putting the numbers he's putting up and doing what he's doing with that team. So yeah, he got to get what he deserves.
Definitely, you definitely got to get what you deserve. And it was just so weird to me because looking at it as a whole, watching that game, Russ was the dog, Harden was playing D, and they pulled that game out, doing some of the craziest shit I ever seen. Like watching Jeff Green look like Chef Curry, just standing in the corner, like I'm gonna just shoot, and they let him shoot. They let him shoot all night long.
We gotta remember too. Even though Harden played the D at the end of the game, for 3 quarters it was the Westbrook show because James Harden had 4 fouls in the second quarter. So they let him get to his spot. When Greek Freak was playing him, he kept letting West get to his spot, and then when he didn't get to a spot, he penetrated, and they left Jeff Green, who was shooting the ball like a la Robert Ory. You leave him in the corner and don't do nothing else, he's going to make it. They kept doing it, and then they started doing it to PJ Tucker, letting Tucker shoot the 3 in the corner. So, again, they might be taller than everybody, but they slow as hell.
And they get exposed with that.
You can get exposed by being, you can be too big and not be fast enough to get to those spots.
But I also say this: styles make games. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Styles make games. So we watched how the Bucks came out against the Celtics. Pretty much was like, oh, all right, this is a team similar to Houston, but not with the age experience. Because if the 2 best players in Boston are Tatum and Brown, right? Tatum and Brown are the 2 best.
Yeah.
And you figure the 2 best on Houston is Harden and Westbrook. I'm going to take Harden and Westbrook every day of the week over top of them today. You get what I'm saying? Like today, I'm going to take them over top of those
off
2
experience, sure.
Just off of the experience alone. Also, I'll go and I'll look at, when I look at Houston does have a little bit of an identity of saying we're going to straight jack, whereas Boston is more of I can attack and shoot. It plays to Milwaukee's advantage because they're like, we know that you're going to come to us sometimes to our height, which means it's going to help us play better defense. And they're not as consistent with just straight shooting 3s all day long up in Boston. And Styles make like the matchup today. Miami was winning the whole game. Milwaukee slowed them down in the fourth quarter, and it was like a major turnaround. I think the Bucks scored like 45 points in the fourth quarter, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
You know what I mean, to come and win that game. So, and Greek was in foul trouble. So, and that's another topic that we're gonna talk about. Yeah, that's another topic we're gonna talk about. But it's just styles make the matchups, and it's the same thing in both sides. So I'll go here, going back onto the Clippers. Clippers, for some reason, I think they kind of either in cruise control. They're either in cruise control or they're just not worried about positioning because they know they're all in the playoffs and they're just going to be playing no matter what. They know they're going to be either two or
they
three.
all in the same home.
Yeah, and I don't think I don't think it matters. Like I think they're looking at it like we can be the 2 seed or the 3 seed. It doesn't matter because we're in the same spot. It's no travel. We're just going to play because they're not going to get no worse than the 3 seed. I see Denver as a team that can fight and try to get the 2, but really that doesn't matter because there's no home court advantage. You're in Orlando. It's no home court unless you consider the virtual fans as the home court. But it's really no home court. So Clippers are kind of in cruise control, but when they're in cruise control, it allows for other teams, a la the Phoenix Suns, to pick up some more victories. And speaking of the Suns, they've won 4 straight in the bubble. They won 4 straight in the bubble. Now they still need a miracle and a prayer and a little shot of Hennessy or something from somebody to get into the playoffs. But they showing me something.
4 straight. Them young boys is playing. I always like Ayton. Loved him, but this new boy, what's his name? Johnson? The one who's taking over for Kelly Oubre.
Mm-hmm. Oh my North Carolina Tar Heels. Stand up, baby. North Carolina Tar Heels.
Oh, I'm Tar Heel all day. But that young man is special over there. I like him. And then Payne.
Yep, campaign.
Man, people step on him, especially when he's in OKC. But he's a good backup to Ricky Rubio.
Right.
And they're deeper than I even knew they were. So, I like that team. I like they got the big, they got that identity. They know who their closer is. They know who they know who their floor general is. They know who to go to in the bottom. So I think they kind of remind me of a lower budget version of Portland. I mean, they don't have as many bigs as Portland, but as far as them having their big, them having their floor general, them having person who just knock down shots, they got all of it. They just young.
Let me ask you this question, right? Let me ask you this question because it's kind of funny. Looking at the teams that were down at the bottom of both the Eastern and the Western Conference, who's in the biggest trouble of missing the bubble? And I'm gonna start in the East because there's only 3 teams.
Who's the biggest trouble trying to get into the playoffs?
Yeah. Who's the team that's basically not going to make the playoffs? We can start in the East because we already know. We already know who's not making it. I don't even know why they was invited.
Yeah. Are you talking about Orlando?
I'm talking about the Wizards.
Oh, my bad. Well, the Wizards was invited just off the strength of Bradley Beal, probably.
Yeah, but as soon as he said opt out, I'd have been like the whole team opt out. They got
the whole team. The whole team is opt out. I think they just needed. They was a filler.
Yeah, you know what's funny, and it's sad because when you look at a team like them, right? They were a filler. That's to give somebody a win. I'm looking at the standings literally like right now. Do you know that since they've gotten into the bubble and lost these games, they now have a worse record than the Charlotte Hornets, who wasn't invited to the bubble? Like, and this is what I'm talking about. Like, that's bad. That's bad, man.
They bad. But it's sad because there's no excuse because they do still have talent other than Bradley Beal, the center of the what's his name, Bowery?
The big man that can shoot the threes,
yeah. The center. They got I think Ish is cool. Ish is a pretty good point guard when he needs to be out there. What's the small forward name for the Wizards?
Roy Nakamura.
There you go. Yeah. So they do have some pieces, but there's no excuse because we look how Brooklyn is playing. and Brooklyn has nobody.
Mm-hmm.
They just got Levert and Harris back last night,
Yep.
and they still playing and seeing that they can win with backup. So I just think Washington is,
that seems like to be
it's gonna
honest with
sound
you.
like I'm picking on DC people. The same thing I said about the Washington football team. There's nothing good in Washington other than the Nationals.
Okay. The Capitals, the hockey team. They
Oh
just won.
well, I apologize. The sport for the Caucasians. The
I'm
Capitals.
sorry. Yes, the sports. Thank you. That's what we got to be diverse here, or BSN.
Sorry,
We gotta be
I
diverse.
apologize,
We
y'all.
gotta give a little. We gotta get a little bit of love, yo. We gotta give a little bit of love out there for all
Yeah,
sports, man.
I'm a buy Wayne Gretzky jersey just for me messing up.
We gotta do that. But no, the Wizards are terrible. You know what I'm saying? I'm just being honest. I'm gonna call a spade a spade. And to be real with you, and I hate to say this because I don't want to see nobody get fired, but Scott Brooks gotta go.
Gotta go.
He gotta go. Like, I know he got hit with the injury bug 2 years in a row, John Wall going down, but you've been there long enough. You've had top tier talent because at the time John Wall was a top 5 point guard in the East.
Mm-hmm.
Then you had Bradley Beal, who's probably one of the top 5 or 10 shooting guards in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
And your team is getting worse.
You got rid of Kelly Oubre. You got rid of Kelly Oubre.
But I didn't think Oubre was that great. I thought, now being honest with you, I'm being real. Watch where I'm going at. Here I'm going.
Okay.
It's bad management in Washington. You get Wall, you get Bill, you draft Otto Porter, but then you turned right back around and drafted a guy that was his replacement in Oubre, who I think is better than Porter. But then you turned right back around after that, signed Ariza and Paul Pierce. And I'm going from their years of it, right? So you got all these same pieces, and they all play the same position.
They remind you of the Knicks, right?
Yes. And it's sad because you bring in everybody, and then the ones you get rid of are the younger ones that can grow. You don't want to give them an opportunity. Now look at Oubre over in Phoenix.
In Phoenix. He was killing his head.
Yeah. And it's like you bring all that in, and it's like, all right, we're bringing this along, but we're really not moving the way that we should. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Like it's bad. It's just so bad to me watching it, man. And I'm just shocked at Washington because Washington should be a whole lot better than what they are right now. That's just my opinion. They should be a whole lot better than what they are. But another team I think that's on the bubble trouble inside of the NBA bubble, and that is the Grizzlies. Memphis. They've had the hardest luck, I think, in the bubble because the Wizards were going to be bullshit regardless. But I think that the Grizzlies have had the hardest time so far going forward in the bubble.
It was with the Grizzlies, man. They lost that steam. They was coming into it before the pandemic happened. The steam that they had going in, crazy team. But then it's like they set them up. They set them up because we know the NBA wanted the Pelicans to beat them. That's why they gave the Pelicans that easy schedule.
Mm-hmm.
But they didn't account for Portland getting fully healthy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what killed them. It's like when Portland got healthy, it didn't matter if the Grizzlies kept winning. The Grizzlies are not beating Portland in the play-in. Even if they got the A spot, they're not beating them in the play-in just because of how Portland is built. And I told you this, Portland is a scary AFC. Are they going to beat the Lakers? No, but they're going to push them to a limit where them old legs. We see how they playing now. I don't know if the Lakers are on cruise control, but you better not come on cruise control playing against a dog like Dame Leonard who got a chip on his shoulder, especially Nurkic with a chip from him getting hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Melo playing with a chip. Like, that whole team is playing for something. You got Whiteside. It's just, the Grizzlies caught a bad stick. Definitely with this.
I'll go ahead with the Grizzlies because looking at what the NBA did, they took every team that was remaining and took pieces of their schedules of who were their matchups for the remainder of the year. The Grizzlies did have a tough stretch to close out the year compared to that of the Pelicans. And we all know that the NBA is trying their hardest to set up Zion Williamson in the playoffs one way or another.
They can't win it. They're like,
and be it either the 9th seed, 8th seed, they want them in that mode no matter what, because that's must-see TV. And what makes it even better if you to have a Pelicans versus Lakers first round matchup in the playoffs. That's what the media wants.
That's the media wants.
I don't see it happening either. And that's my second team inside the bubble that I feel as though are the biggest ones in trouble. So let me go with Memphis first. So Memphis being inside the bubble, they had their opportunities to kind of push it away a little bit to make sure they stayed in that 8th spot, and they lost. So excuse me. So my fault, real quick.
You good?
Had to get a sneeze in real quick. Had to get it through. You know what I'm saying? So had to let it pass. But with Memphis, they caught a bad break early because they couldn't pull out some tough games at the beginning in the first 2 games inside of the bubble. Now you have an injury to your second best player, Jaren Jackson. He's done for the season with the torn meniscus. Team is basically standing on a thin needle. They're on a thin line. I think they're going to miss out completely. I don't even think they're going to get the play-in game at this moment. I think they're going to drop down to maybe 10th or 11th because their health issue, their inexperience is all starting to show. And then let's look at the Pelicans. I see you got Zion's jersey right there, so let's talk about the Pelicans. The problem with the Pelicans, where is Zion? I get it. He's there. He's wearing a uniform. The man should be playing 30 to 35 minutes. There's no way. Say it again.
Coach is a jerk.
But see, I'm about to go here. We all just finished watching The Last Dance while the pandemic was going on. And remember the episode when Jordan was like, they put me on the bench because I broke my foot, and they said I can only play 7 minutes a half, 14 minutes for a whole game. So I'm trying to go off to help my team win within 14 minutes. But I got my higher-ups telling me, oh, you better sit his ass down or you're going to get fired. All we see is the coach making a bad coach's decision by not allowing the player to play. But what if he got some high-ups that's his boss and his boss's boss that say don't play him no more than 25 to 26 minutes a game?
And if they saying that, then it's not him. It's the higher-ups that's some dumbasses. My thing is this. Sitting him is kind of irrelevant when you're basically in the playoffs right now.
Right.
They're in the playoffs. It's like, so stop with we're arresting him. We're trying to save him. There's no saving. This is it. This is it. If he's not playing and you don't get in, you better go ahead and just not play him at all. Don't play him at all. Then if this is the case, you're going to give him them 5-minute spurts, and then he's coming in 14 minutes a game, 14 points. It's like you see what he can do when he's on the court. You see how their attitude and swag is different when he's on the court.
It's crazy. It's crazy when you watch it and you're like, yo, I'm literally watching this man come out here. He gives you 22 minutes. He's going to score 24 points in 22 minutes. They run no plays for him. It's pretty much, I'm going to go play. I'm going up and down the court. I'm going to get my buckets, and I'm going to help us get the lead. And then it's like, oh, we're going to pull them, and then you lose these games. And that's not good. And I really, truly think that they're the team on the outs first. Because right now they've dropped to the last spot in the bubble out of the team.
It's going to be the Spurs in Portland to play.
Well, no, I'm say this. I got Phoenix versus Portland in the play-in.
Whoa! So you got Phoenix over the Spurs?
Yep.
Because the Spurs is balling even without Aldridge.
I got Phoenix. I got Phoenix versus Portland inside the bubble, and the reason why.
But hold on, let me ask you, how many games is Portland back still? I mean, not Portland.
Here we go. That's what I'm getting at. Okay. So because they got hot at the right time, because that's what it's all about, getting hot at the right time. Phoenix is right now 10th. They jumped in front of both the Spurs, the Kings, and the Pelicans. The Pelicans have dropped all the way down to the Phoenix spot. They've dropped down the Phoenix spot, and the Suns are right there. They're a game behind Portland for the 9th spot, 2 games behind Memphis for the 8th spot. And I'm telling you now, I think Memphis is coming out of that 8th spot. I think Memphis is going down to the 10th spot. I do.
Oh yeah,
I truly do.
Memphis schedule is ridiculous.
It's too hard. But see, here's the problem now for a team like the Suns. So they've won 4 straight. They get the Heat, a team that's still battling for the 3rd spot, which I don't think they're going to get. But you got the Heat. You have the Thunder, another team that's still battling for position on who they want to play in the first round. The Sixers, who I think kind of hurt themselves losing the first game in the bubble to the Pacers, and then the Mavericks, who are set at 7. So that might be a win because I think they'll sit Luka by that time.
They'll sit Luka, and with Ben Simmons not being there, they could squeak out that Sixers game.
And that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at the Suns. I'm like, the Suns might win 6 games in the bubble and get in the playoffs in that play-in game. I mean,
but for me, it's you're just playing to lose.
Mm-hmm. Because
none of the teams from the Grizzlies, the Spurs,
Blazers,
Phoenix, and New Orleans, none of those teams are beating Portland twice.
Okay.
So I like it. I like the fact that they trying and they pushing themselves, but I see Portland as being a team that nobody wants to play. They got 2 of the best dudes in the backcourt. The front court is crazy. All of them play defense. Nobody wants to play Portland.
I agree with you 100%.
I definitely, but seeing Phoenix, I just like what you're saying as far as we seeing that growth right now. The growth is happening, and it's funny because we had a segment probably about 2 weeks ago about Devin Booker.
Gotta stop talking about people on the low.
And we're not going to talk about Devin Booker, but the whole team as a whole are playing basketball. It's not just Devin Booker. I mean, it's not just Ayton. It's all of them. Ricky Rubio is having this a good stretch right now. So like I said, we mentioned Payne. So all these guys are playing very well together.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a good thing for them. And then it's good for them next year that they can capitalize off of this and keep going.
But see, we talk about coaching, right? Scott Brooks should be fired because he couldn't develop the vet talent to get them to the next level. Monty Williams need to be praised because all these guys are young, 3rd and 2nd year guys mixed in with vets like Rubio, but your stars are 3rd and 2nd year guys, and they showing you, give us an opportunity to get inside of this bubble. Maybe we can make a push for that playoffs, and that's what they're doing. So
and let me ask you, just real quick on a side note, did you agree with the coach of the year joint?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, because Billy Donovan definitely deserved coach of the year from what he did. Because, and I'm gonna go on Billy Donovan's whole entire NBA journey so far as a coach. The man went from having 2 MVPs on his team, transitioning from 1 MVP who came back from an injury year to come back and lead you to the Western Conference Finals. You lose to the best regular season team of all time. At 73-9 in game 7 on their court. He leaves. You now change the team over to Russ. He becomes an MVP and does everything that's great to keep that team afloat. With, in my opinion, with not up to par talent at the time. Because remember, you didn't have Paul George, didn't have Melo at the time. You were doing it with Oladipo, who everybody thought was getting ready to be a journeyman guy, right? So that's what you had, and you elevated those guys to the playoffs. The next year, you bring in Paul George, you bring in Melo. You got to deal with the media headache with that because you got guys saying they shouldn't come off the bench. Who should be the guy getting the shots at the end of the games, but you still lead them to the playoffs. Then you turn around last year, all in with Paul George and Westbrook. PG becomes an MVP candidate. Your team gets knocked out by Damian Lillard in the playoffs, and everybody says, "Oh, they blowing it up." You trade Russ for an older Chris Paul and a bunch of basically a bunch of journeymen and a secret talent in Gilgeous Alexander, and you are the 5th seed in the West.
And what's name is 4th in MVP. He keeps finding ways to make these guys MVP candidates.
Yeah.
And that's why I didn't agree with the code. I wouldn't have it'd have just been Donovan by himself, because this was a team who was supposed to be tanking.
But you can't knock Budenholzer, because he did his thing too in Milwaukee. They were on pace to win 70 games. They were on pace to win 70 games.
I mean, they looked the same.
They were on pace to win 70 basketball games.
That was the pace. We know they weren't going to win those 70.
I don't think they were either, but they still were. They were on a historical pace. You know what I'm saying? So you got to give Budenholzer some credit. Now, me personally, I said it already. I thought that the 2 people that should have been the coach of the year, in my opinion, was Donovan and Spo. I thought Eric Spoelstra should have been. I thought Spoelstra, because nobody expected this in Miami. Nobody expected Miami to be a 4th seed in the Eastern Conference. I don't care who you are, because everybody thought Philly. Everybody knew Indiana was going to be there. No, and Brooklyn. Even with Kyrie, without KD, they thought Kyrie was going to lead them to at least a 6 seed. No way in the world they thought Miami was going to be top 4, fighting for possibly a 3 position. Nobody thought.
Miami was in the same position as OKC.
I agree.
And then, I say, OKC doing this in the West makes it even tougher.
We had this debate a few weeks ago. We were all on here talking about it, and they said, "Well, Spoelstra," what plays do he run to get Tyler Hero doing what he do? I'm sorry. They said, what does Hero do? Great. That Spoelstra can allow him to develop it. I said, wait a minute. Spoelstra is the one setting up the play so it can make Hero look good. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And none. You know what I'm saying? Like, those dudes had to come in and understand a system, because you only play in Pat Riley / Eric Spoelstra system if you come in and do the work. Right. You gotta work. And that's what they did. So I kind of wanted Spo to be the one that get the coach, but I understood Budenholzer because they were on a historical pace. So I can't go wrong with that. But keeping it back on Portland before we get away from it. Portland's on a roll. They are healthy. They have everybody back except for Ariza, who decided to opt out. But this team can score, and I gotta give praise to Baltimore's guy, Carmelo Anthony. Skinny Mello. I gotta give love to Skinny Mello, yo. He boom, boom, boom. You gotta give him love. You gotta give him love, yo, because he's showing everybody that he still got it.
And before you say something, unlike everybody else, if my man Tommy from Power is listening, I apologize for me dogging Melo the way I did. I apologize.
You did that.
Now, I'm not going to take back me saying he can't lead a team by himself, but the boy still balls, and I straight just dismiss Melo and the greatness of Carmelo Anthony. So Tommy, my bad.
Listen, I'm gonna be 100% real with you. I've never said Carmelo Anthony wasn't a Hall of Fame basketball player.
Oh no, we never said that.
All I said was Melo is not a guy that could lead a team as the number one guy to an NBA championship or even a finals appearance, because he doesn't elevate others around him. And
that's crazy.
I had to, yeah. You know what I'm saying? And that's my opinion. Now, granted, a lot of people, and my man Tommy was one of them, First thing he said was, yo, he ain't never played with no stacked team. I look at this. I watched a 22-year-old LeBron James lead a bunch of bums to the NBA Finals.
He different.
And I've always compared it. I said, yo, Melo can do the things that LeBron does. He chooses not to. You know what I'm saying? He chooses not to worry about creating and passing to other guys. Maybe it is a trust issue. Like, yo, I don't trust at the time Anthony Carter to hit an open three. But LeBron trusts a Boobie Gibson at the time, a rookie, to hit an open three. You got to give it to them to see what they're going to do. And then if they don't do it, that's when you put them on your back and you take them there. Granted, Melo was playing in a tougher conference at the time. So I can't keep going on that and say, oh, well, he played in the West, playing against these tough teams. Everybody lost. He was the eventual champions. All right, I respect that. But let's look at what happened when he goes to the East. He's in New York. He had Jason Kidd. He got Iman Shumpert. He got J.R. Smith. They're quote unquote not elite talent. I watched LeBron James 3 years later. Guys are older now.
Yeah.
I watched him 3 years later. Come up there and do what? Lead them to what?
Ring.
Lead them to the finals and to a ring. So you can't say that, oh, Melo ain't never played with no top tier talent or he's always played with scrubs. LeBron went to the finals 3 times with a bunch of scrubs.
Well, but again, I'll say this. He is different.
Totally agree.
He's Mount Rushmore different. You know what I mean? We're not gonna Melo. I'm gonna say this, and not disrespecting him. You will see another Melo. We're getting another Melo. You won't get another LeBron. You won't get another Kobe. That's why Melo he's a pure scorer.
Mm-hmm.
He can score from any position. He can do any and everything as far as scoring. But when it comes down to all the other tangibles, it's just not him. That's not him. He's one of the most clutch. He's one of the most clutch basketball players I've ever seen. He has that gem.
I'll say this because I'm gonna keep it in the bubble because we can't go in the past.
Okay.
It's year 17 for Melo. Inside the bubble with Portland, a team that I thought he should have went to 4 years ago. That would have put Portland over the top.
Okay.
You starting to see it when you got a CJ McCollum, a Dame Lillard, and they get so much attention. Melo can get so many open shots with these two guys on the court, and he's showing everybody what he's still worth. So kudos to Melo.
Definitely kudos to him. And you know, again, they are one of the most complete teams right now.
Mm-hmm.
They are loaded. Loaded. They are complete, man. They got weapons everywhere. They got shooters. They got big men. They got defense. They just got everything you would want in the team. So I like it. I like them. I like them, and it scares me because my boy is going to have to play them.
LeBron.
Okay, LeBron's gonna have to play them.
Now, you know what's funny? Looking at the matchup, that when I look at it, it is a scary matchup. I'm gonna be realistic with you. It's a very scary matchup, and I ain't even talking about with LeBron having to play skinny Melo.
No.
I'm talking about the fact that Dame Lillard and CJ McCollum looking at it like they're gonna put KCP, Danny Green, Dion Waiters, and Alex Caruso.
They're gonna wipe the floor. They're gonna wipe the floor with them.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
And then they have what I say is they have enough fouls to give to Anthony Davis.
Mm-hmm.
They got fouls.
And I ain't even worried about the big aspect because I think that Nurkic's not healthy enough yet. Like he's there.
Nurk is going to be him. But what I'm saying is Anthony Davis don't like being touched.
Mm-hmm.
They got enough bigs to touch and they just, drain him, just keep draining him just beating on them.
Right.
So it's one that is a matchup. I definitely don't think the Lakers want. But if they get past that matchup and they do it in the fashion that I know LeBron and AD can, that'll be that challenge to just ease on through.
See, like this, if they went up against Portland, it'd have been a perfect series for a guy like Rondo. Because Rondo don't want to score. All he want to do is play D. So he been like, all right, cool. All I got to do is defend Dame Lillard here and there. And that's why when the Pelicans went up against the Blazers 2 years ago in the playoffs, there's no answer for Anthony Davis. And it's like, yo, I got two guards that don't want to do them but just play straight defense on me all day long. It frustrates you. And then those same guards, Rondo and Holiday, were able to come down and say, I can push tempo and get a couple of alley-oops or open transition threes for guys. Holiday is not afraid to shoot the three or go to the rack. Right. Whereas I look at the Lakers, I don't believe in Danny Green defensively.
No, Danny Green is shooting 21% from three in the bubble. He's trash right now.
And that's why I don't believe. That's somebody that I could say definitely needed to keep going.
Yeah, he's doing hard.
He's playing like shit, but that's what happens. And I see Portland is a dangerous team. I mean, they're very dangerous.
Point blank period.
But I still don't think they'll lose. I still think the Lakers will get them when they match up.
They often because somebody's different.
So let's go ahead. Let's go ahead because we got matchups that's going to happen that are going to be interesting. But I gotta go to all bubble team. All bubble team. I'm gonna call it out here. I'm gonna put it out here. I'm gonna put mine out first. At the center position, Joel Embiid. The man is giving you 40 plus 15 in rebounds and assists. Now the team still looks shaky, but he's still being productive. I think he's the most productive big man in the bubble so far. At the forward position, Pascal Siakam. Quietly doing the same thing he's been doing all season in one of the forward spots, killing. Toronto's undefeated in the bubble so far. They're doing their thing.
That's because of Kyle Lowry. But go ahead.
I agree totally. Wait till you finish listening to the rest of
the bubble. I apologize. I'm sorry. I done did this skip on you. I'm sorry.
Skip. Come on, Skip. Yeah, do that. All right, let's pay attention to me. At the other forward position, Michael Porter Jr. He's showing everybody why he should have been the number one pick. I know it was a back injury, but he's showing everybody the goods right now inside the bubble. At the guard spot, Devin Booker. We just finished talking about the young man. He's leading the Suns. If he can get them into the playoffs, all due respect to this young man because he pushed his team through. He's the leader of that team. He's doing his thing. And then my guy, Mr. Point Guard himself, NBA champion, all-star, Olympic team gold medalist from Philly, Kyle Lowry. Y'all, everybody joke me when I say Kyle Lowry is the goods, man. He's the goods. He's showing y'all why he's a real leader. Yeah. He's leading Toronto. He's doing this thing, Kyle Lowry. And then he gets even more pub because after committing a hard foul, he tells Aaron Gordon, yeah, I'm in room 863. Come holler at me. What you mean? Kyle fucking Lowry, man. Go ahead. Let me hear you.
We got the same we got the Kyle. I'll agree with you with the Kyle Lowry.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you with the Devin Booker, and I agree with you on the Michael Porter Jr. Shout out, I'm getting the Michael Porter Jr. jersey next week, so that's definitely coming.
Mm-hmm.
But the other two, nah. For my other forward, it's TJ. Okay, TJ Warren in the bubble is dropping.
Listen, he need to get drug tested like Bobo did.
No. He is dropping numbers.
I get it.
It makes Phoenix look stupid what they gave up for him.
I agree.
And another one is the guy who came off the injury, who was a 20-10-4 block machine, and that's my man important. That's Nurkic for me.
Okay.
I think he's been as you know, he's been consistently giving them 20 and 12 since the bubble has started, and the team looks good with him doing it. It's just not him looking good. No, he's showing his dominance in the hole. So I like him, and he don't fuss at little small ass point guards. Okay, I like them, but I'm not going to argue with yours. But yeah, TJ is that for me. He's been the shocker in this bubble.
I'm gonna give you another person that's a shocker. Gary Trent Jr. That boy, he hitting a lot of shots. He doing his thing. He look like the sixth man of the bubble.
Gary's killing.
Sixth man of the bubble.
Gary is killing.
They need to come up with them awards, man.
My sixth man of the bubble is Van Vliet.
Yeah, he doing this thing too, but he start though.
Yeah, but when what I mean is, if you're looking at our honorable mention, is Van for me. Hold on, I'm sorry, y'all. My wife, I gotta taste that stuff for my wife. I'm sorry, y'all.
That's cool. We like that here on BSN. Where's my food at? She ain't give me my food.
This shrimp, y'all. This is.
You're gonna sit here. You're gonna sit here and try to eat all day long on the show and have us laughing. It's all good. I need my food. I ate before the show. See that? I ate before the show. You want to come and eat on the show?
Taco Thursday.
You try to knock on me, man. That's messed up. But going back real quick on the East Coast, on the east side of the bracket, I can say, because we on the East Coast anywhere in the bubble. Philly. Ben Simmons, sore knee, day-to-day with a knee contusion. But Philly got bigger problems than that. They're not the city of brotherly love. They're the city of dissension. And the reason why I say it is because it's two different identities on this team. Are they going to go through Embiid? Or are they going to go through Ben? I'm going to ask that question to you. Who got to go? Who should stay? And what can they do to salvage the rest of the season inside the bubble? Go ahead, Eddie.
All right. Who got to go? Who got to stay? Coach got to go. You thought they wanted to play.
Mm-hmm.
Coach got to go. Because, hold on, Greg, hold on.
All right, I'm going to hit him with this because he put me on hold. I kind of agree with him with that about saying the coach got to go. Because if the coach got to go, we can change some things.
I'm sorry, I'm back. Sean. Now, I take the coach because your coach is the one supposed to make the idea. Like, you get together with these young guys because we know Embiid is the mouthpiece. Mm-hmm. He talks all the time. You got to sit Embiid down and say, listen, we got one person who does everything well. I'm going to shoot the three. He's the floor general. He plays the perimeter guys. Let's go through him. You're going to get yours regardless because you're 7 feet.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need the ball on the wing. No, you're going to get yours regardless. I need you to just stay down there, be a brick house, and do that. And, with Ben Simmons being so passive, he reminds me of Kevin Durant when it comes down to letting the other superstar punk him. That's what Westbrook did to Durant. It was like, shut up, I'll run this, give me the ball. And that's what Embiid is doing to Ben Simmons, which ain't right. Because they just don't talk. Kevin Durant is more the Twitter finger guy. He'll fuss at a fan before he fuss at somebody who told us his bitch ass down and Draymond Green. That's who they are. They're just not tough guys. They don't voice their opinions. But I think I get rid of the coach. And they got that team is just so good, man, with Harris. I think they kind of messed up getting rid of JJ. Because they missing that per 3 guy. They got rid of Jimmy because Jimmy was too much of a dog He was just.
It's crazy to me because if you keep Jimmy, I think that's going to make them even better.
Oh no, they don't. They would have been the team to beat.
Because that's what they needed for the dog. They needed that dog. And then you get
They
rid of
needed
Jimmy.
a dog that wasn't going to punk the little guys in milk and shake.
Yeah.
But I think, but who's going to go is going to be Ben. I mean, not Ben. Is going to be
Embiid.
MB is going to go. Even though I think it's crazy because it's so hard to find that. Like you always say, you can't teach 7 feet.
You can't.
You can't teach that.
You can't play often injured.
Right.
And that's
so
the issue.
That's my thing with Philly.
Yeah, that's the issue over there when it comes to Philly. I think Philly is like the team that's kind of like the Rockets. I think they're the same team. Two teams that are better than their actual seeding, but because their coaches are so weak in allowing their star players to do whatever they want, it hurts the team as a whole. You know what I'm saying? Like, I look at Houston and I say, D'Antoni wants to just shoot threes. I'm like, yo, common sense. You got a dog in Westbrook. Attack. Harden can attack. But you don't. You want to let them do that pound, shoot. And it ain't going to win when it matters most.
Right.
It's just not. And I look at the same thing with a team like Philly. Philly's problem is, all right, if you're going to go through Embiid, who's going to shoot the ball? Because Ben Simmons ain't shooting. And I ain't gonna,
it's weird as shit. Consistent.
Yeah, and it's weird as shit because now it's like, all right, if you put the ball in Ben's hands, it opens it up for more people. But now you take it away from Embiid because now Embiid needs to have his back to the basket. It's so weird on Philly's team. You know what I mean? Like, it's just so weird. But that's the bubble. That's the bubble we're gonna see. And this is what we're gonna see. What's your favorite matchup you think you want to see inside the playoffs once the bubble goes to the next round?
To the next round? Or you talking about in the playoffs, like the first playoff run?
Playoffs.
Oh, Portland Lakers.
Okay.
Portland Lakers. That's because that's going to be a better matchup. That's going to be the dog fight that a lot of people want to see when it comes down to how good is LA. I'm looking at the Greek Freak in them. Mm-hmm. They're gonna wash whoever they play in the first round. Of course, Toronto gonna wash this, but in another matchup is Houston, and I think Houston got the 5th, right?
It is 6 right now.
Houston is 6. And
Denver is technically 3rd.
Denver's 2nd. Denver's 3rd right now.
They can potentially be 2nd.
And if the Clippers in Houston has to play each other, that's another scary matchup. I don't think the Clippers want that.
And I don't either. And that's my thing. I'm like, yo, the Clippers better not slip too far, because you slip too far, you might be done.
That's why this game now between them and Dallas it means so much. That's why they playing so hard right now.
Mm-hmm. It's gonna be interesting on that shit. I can't wait to see it. But let's flip gears, go over to the NFL. We're gonna start it off right here. Okay. The MVP of the league, Lamar Jackson, has been very vocal over the offseason and some things that he wants done to make his team better. And I'm gonna go first off on what actually happened on the football field. And that's him saying, I'm tired of losing in the playoffs. I'm tired of going down in the playoffs. It's time to make a statement. I like that statement coming from a young man.
Oh, yeah.
Him. You know, I like it. And I also like the fact that not only him, another young MVP, Patrick Mahomes, is talking, because that creates something new for the next generation. Those are the two faces of the next generation. So I'm loving the fact that they're talking about it and they're being about it. But I also want to talk about this, and I got to go into it because we talk about big names, free agency, as training camps are opening up. The season is right around the corner. I think we got about 45 days until the season kicks off. We got it. We got to get it right. I know you're ready for it, Eddie, man. I know you're ready for the
Man,
football. But I'm going to hit him right here. Lamar Jackson wants him. The league has already made the mandates. Antonio Brown, future Hall of Fame wide receiver. That's what I'm going to call him, Antonio
yeah,
Brown. He
sure,
going to Hall of Fame.
for
Got
sure.
8-game suspension from the NFL for his off-the-field incidents. But my man, Lamar Jackson, MVP of the league, came out and said, man, I would love to have him in this locker room. Do you think with that statement and the fact that Baltimore is on the cusp of being a Super Bowl contending team, do you think Antonio Brown winds up in a purple and black uniform before the end of the season?
No, no.
Why
He'll
not?
be in Seattle. He'll be in Seattle before he be in Baltimore.
Okay, explain to me.
I'm saying that because the whole reason why he's on suspension with the whole girl thing, and we all remember the bag of dicks. We remember all of the things that Antonio Brown has done off the field. And the last team that I think wants to deal with a loose cannon is the Baltimore Ravens.
Okay.
He's a loose one. And we done dealt with a lot of, iffy people. And I don't think that he's a good fit for that young core, because there is no divas in Baltimore right now. There's no divas. He's gonna come in with this diva attitude. He's gonna come to y'all camp with minks on.
It is one diva in Baltimore right now.
Huh?
I think it's 2 divas in Baltimore right now.
Who's that?
Peters.
Oh well, yeah, okay, well, yeah,
Earl Thomas.
but I really, I'm sorry, y'all. I really think because in Seattle, the whole organization is talking about him. Pete Carroll wants him. It's a difference when you start your quarterback say you want him. But when your coach talking about we are really considering bringing him in, it might force Harbaugh to say, hold up, let's make this move. But do you want to mess that chemistry up, bringing a nutcase in 8 games later?
That's the issue for me. Like,
that's the issue. He's the
for me.
And then real quick, with Brown coming into Seattle, it's too talented. Their wide receiver talent is already there. You just filling in, bringing what you can bring. If he comes to Baltimore 8 weeks later, he's going to be the guy. And then you start force feeding him, start trying to get him involved. You don't got to try to get him involved in Seattle. They do the same thing they did with Josh Gordon. So that's why I think he'll be in Seattle, not Baltimore.
But I'm looking at it. I like what you're saying, but I'm looking at it like this. Wherever he go, he gonna try to force himself to become quote unquote the guy. And it does take a strong personality at the main position, quarterback position, to either hone him in and keep his ass under check or get him out. I don't think Russell Wilson is the guy in Seattle that can say, yo, calm that shit down, come here, because that's just not his demeanor. He don't roll like that. His thing is, I'll go to the bosses and let the bosses make the decision. And then you'll have the same kind of situation that you had in Pittsburgh at the end when Big Ben and him went through their issues. I think, personally, you come to Baltimore, and the X factor is the little cousin. You got the little cousin here. You got a family-oriented person with you to say, look, yo, let's do this together. And then Lamar is such a people's guy, a natural leader, where he say, you know what? I got him. He ain't doing nothing. I got him. It's kind of funny. I'm going to do this comparison looking over the top of my shoulder. It's the Ray Lewis syndrome. Whereas Lamar's not doing this, but Lamar is that guy. I'm that guy. Like, people fuck with me. So because they fuck with me, I can make it work here. and I think it could work. Now, with chemistry issues, it's all about wins and losses. If Baltimore gets out to a sluggish start and then they bring him on, that's where we affect with that divas mentality. Is that Kobe falling off, or that's LeBron?
That was LeBron. He was fed up.
He was fed up. He was fed up with talking to greatness. I understand. Now, so when we go here and we say Baltimore, let's say they start out 4-4, then they bring them on. It's almost gonna be like, all right, Lamar, this is who you wanted. Let's see what he can do. That'll be something that's gonna be a major thing. Be like, can he do that now if they struggle? But I don't see Baltimore struggling. I think Baltimore's gonna be fine. And I think if they was to bring him in, I wouldn't be mad at that. But
now I look at it like this too. Seattle, even though you might say that Russ don't talk, Seattle done with plenty of divas. It done dealt with plenty of girls from the Legion of Boom, from Richard Sherman to Mr. Skittles himself.
And he's
they
back.
know how,
And Mr. Skittles is back.
Yeah, they know how to deal with people like that. They still don't affect the team flow. Because Russ, like, I don't care what y'all do outside. When it come down on the field, my team, I run it how I want to run it. And I think that's just how Russ is, man. Russ got that cool, calm, we good demeanor. Don't need to be a people's guy. He just need to be a team guy. Now, I got my team. I know what I'm doing. He's a proven winner. A lot of times when you got these celebrity diva wide receivers who has not been with a proven winner. I mean, I'm not saying he hasn't won playoff, on regular season, but playoff wins, which he has already, especially with being with Big Ben, he's been in that limelight. He's been winning playoff games before.
Right.
He felt, I done played one game with Tom Brady. He's going to come in and if he don't try to come in and sun nobody and be the aggressive person, he will be okay. But I'm just scared of his personality. He's the cancer everywhere he goes. So I don't know about bringing that cancer to that young team.
I mean,
he screamed at Lamar one time. He got old big Trust Ingram all in his face. Don't even want that.
Hey, look, but you already know whatever contract he signs is going to be one of those
1 year deals,
1 year incentive-based deals, and easy to get out of kind of move. So either way, I think it'll be straight with whichever way they go. Let's go to the next topic in the NFL. Opt in or opt out. What we talking about? We talking about players that's not willing to play during the pandemic. We've seen it in the NBA with guys going back to the bubble. We've seen it in MLB. We starting to see it in college as just today. Miami's best defensive end has decided to opt out of college football season and get ready for next year for the NFL. So his college career is over, and he's basing it off of the COVID pandemic. We've had several players right now in the NFL have decided to opt out. Quite notably, the Patriots have had 9 players opt out right now on their season moving forward. A prominent player that has not decided if they were going to do it or not yet, Devin McCourty, came out with a statement saying he doesn't feel as though the NFL is right for trying to push up the date to actually do the opt-out, which I thought the date was actually supposed to have been yesterday. I had to go look it up. The date was supposed to be yesterday.
It's this weekend.
Yeah, so I think it moved to this weekend for players to announce if they will indeed opt out for this upcoming season.
Okay.
Hey, I know you want to see the players play, so there's no need to even ask you if players should opt out or should opt in, because I know you want to see them play.
No, I don't dispute on the ones that want to opt out. If that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. I just don't like the fact that they're trying to treat this like it's not a job. Because I done had, since the pandemic started, I done had 2 jobs. You know, I know a lot of people out there who had jobs, and my job gave you the choice. If you don't feel safe, don't come to work. If you feel like you can do it, come to work.
Mm-hmm.
When it gets too bad, we'll shut down and then it'll all be done. So if a regular job, a 9 to 5 that we all have, says you got the option, you can come to work or not. We got to give you this amount of time, because once we decide this, that, and the third, then it's a whole lot of different numbers that got to be involved.
Mm-hmm.
They can't always act like, oh, because we make this much money, football not that important. It's a job. Job is a job. It's no more essential job because everybody's working.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's back to working. People at McDonald's is working. People at the markets is working. These people at markets are around a lot more people than you are when you're dealing with your teammates
Mm-hmm.
and the other team. But you talking, that's not fair to us because they want us to, they giving us a choice. You mean you lucky they gave you a choice? Because they could have just said, no, you're going to play. They giving you the option now. If you didn't take your money and save it wisely during the pandemic,
Mm-hmm.
that's on you. But I don't agree with them, trying to give the NFL so much flack on them playing and them not playing. If you're not going to play, don't play.
I think the major concern is that before the season kicked off, before training camp opened, we had like 97 or 98 tests that came back saying that they had coronavirus, and some of them were star players. I believe Zeke was one of the ones that actually
Zeke was one
that had coronavirus. So people were, looking at it as a concern. Also, I look at guys like Odell Beckham, who made statements saying they should shut the season down because, in reality, sports is big, but life is bigger. And I know it's a small percentile of when you look at it worldwide of those that have passed away, but it's still a life, because I can't judge life off of what this person may feel compared to what that person may feel. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
it's hard. But when I look at it from a business perspective, business has to continue. So
Work is work.
Work is work. So you
Work
have
is
to
work.
come to work. And if the NFL is putting proper protocols and parameters around to make it work, then most definitely go to work. And I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. This is when I look at it as a fan. I'm watching NBA, I'm watching NHL, I'm watching MLB. There's no fans at these games, and it's working because it's about your team at the end of the day. We've grown up, we've played ball on basketball courts where it's just us on the court and we running up and down the court playing. Watch it with we play football, with nobody in the stands. You got to do it.
Work
You
is
just
work.
got to do it. Work is work. So you
That's
got to
it.
make it work.
They keep saying that it's not, the pandemic is bigger than football.
Mm-hmm.
They saying the word football. Work is work, because I feel like I don't want to go to work every day, but I ain't gonna eat if I don't go.
Right.
So they gotta understand. Some people who just got a Patrick Mahomes can say, "Hey, we shut it down. I'm good." But what about a bull crap like the fullback from the Chargers or somebody who we don't know, who's not making no money, or they can't just they can't do that.
And I totally agree. I mean? I totally agree.
They can't do that. So I just want them. I want people to understand that these football players got to get that mindset of, oh man, it ain't fair how y'all doing me. Everybody in the world is being done the exact same way. I don't even think we got a choice now. You don't go to work, you fired.
Well, I've been like that since day one because I'm essential. But
hold on, remember, me too. I haven't started working since. I work for the government too. But if we decide we can't decide, we're not going to work. Mm-hmm. We fired. At least they still got a job next year.
Right.
So
and that's the thing. I'm like, they're giving you the pass, and that's my issue. You're getting told, hey, look, you can either choose to opt out or you can play. If I know I don't want to be there and I got the choice to opt out, I'm gonna opt out. But let's look at a prime example. We talked about this last week off air. We were talking about Williams, the running back with the Chiefs. I see the Chiefs helmet behind you. And we was talking about how he opted out. Now, mind you, he opted out in a contract year. Why? Because his replacement was just drafted from LSU.
That's why he did it.
That's why he did it. Because he knows, oh shit, I am not going to be here next year anyway. So why not opt out while I'm on top? Because any team that sees me next year as an unrestricted free agent, they'll remember me getting big yards and numbers in the Super Bowl. Yep. Yeah. It's all strategy.
Yeah. It's smart. It's smart, but everybody's strategizing, man. And the NFL, you know, they gotta make that money. Like everybody's gotta make their money. You know, it's unfortunate that y'all on a bigger scale than we are, but I think it is. I think at the end of the day, it is what it is, man. And it's not me speaking as a fan. This is me speaking as a working man.
Right.
As a fan, I want it. But if I feel as though that I'm in a situation, I'm putting my family in a situation that I think is wrong, I'm not going to do it because I got the option not to.
Mm-hmm.
But if I feel as though that my family's going to be okay, then it is what it is. And don't, and I told you this one off air, don't say you feel scared or it's not right and you want to opt out, but then you're not at home quarantining yourself. You still doing everything else.
You still out here doing Lou Williams.
Right. You're still getting chicken wings. So you can't use that as an excuse. You're just using that you just don't want to play and you want to get paid for it. Mm-hmm. That's the problem with these players.
Gotta get them lemon pepper wings.
Got to get the lemon pepper wings.
Yeah, gotta get the lemon
all
pepper
flats.
All flats. No drugs, yo. You're all flats, yo, all day.
All flats, fry hard.
Let's go to this next NFL topic. We missed out on it last week, but guess what? We don't care because this is what we do at BSN. We're going to talk about it when we get on air. And that is the Green Bay Packers. Green Bay have a legendary quarterback and Aaron Rodgers. They decided to go up and trade up in the first round of the draft this past year and draft a quarterback for the future. Mm-hmm. Mr. Love. Aaron Rodgers has been asked several times about this and even came out in a statement saying it's a business. He wanted to keep himself in a Green Bay uniform for his entire career. Matt LaFleur came out and even made a statement of Aaron Rodgers is our guy, but had the keyword but. I'm going to ask this question, bro. Gotta ask this question. Does Aaron Rodgers leave Green Bay when his contract is up?
Or Aaron Rodgers is going next year.
You think he's going before his contract up? You think they're going to trade him?
Yeah.
Okay, let me hear this.
Because he just signed a 4-year extension.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not drafting a quarterback in the first round and going up. And it's different when it happened with him and Brett Favre. They didn't go up to get him. He just happened to drop in that lap. They made everybody aware. We want you. You're the future. But we're going to just sit back and let the future just sit on the bench and you're only going to get 1 year out of him? Because he got a 5-year contract, you're going to get 1 year out of him if he stays for 4 years?
Mm-hmm.
No. He's not staying them 4 years. Somebody's going to get a good quarterback next year. And I'm just going to tell you who's going to get him. And you're going to laugh when I say it because he's coming with his old coach. This is the reason why we ain't signed Dak Prescott. Listen to me when I say it, Greg. Don't be surprised if they let the boy go or sign and trade and get Aaron Rodgers.
Well, first of all, they're not going to sign and trade Dak Prescott. You're going to walk for free if they do that. Because that means that means you're going to be trading Dak over to Green Bay. They won't do that. They won't do that because they just drafted it. Now I'm gonna look at this. I've watched this story play out before. coincidentally in Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers was in this same situation with Brett Favre.
Yeah.
Same situation. They drafted him. He came out. He sat on the bench for 3 years because Brett Favre went out there and went 13-3, took teams to the NFC Championship game.
Mm-hmm.
And then they brought in Aaron Rodgers. It wound up working out in the long term, but let's not forget when they traded Brett Favre, and let Aaron Rodgers be the guy. Aaron Rodgers was the one that was going 8-8, while Brett Favre went to Minnesota and was 13-3 and a bad interception away from
Bad interception.
So let's look at that and say that could be the same thing happening right back to Aaron Rodgers, even though that's no fault of his own, because the organization is the one that drafts the quarterback. But I'm looking at it now as Matt LaFleur didn't really use Aaron Rodgers like that last year either. Remember, but they were running the ball with Aaron Jones.
He didn't, but that's crazy to say when you got 4,000 yards, 25 touchdowns, and four interceptions.
Yeah, I thought it was 2. So I'm
sorry, 2 interceptions. So that's a weird thing to say that we're not using you.
Mm-hmm.
He's still Aaron Rodgers.
I agree.
So I don't get it. It's a slap in the face because they went 13-3, and all you really needed was another show enough wide receiver, and you passed on a lot of them.
Yeah.
You passed on a lot of them to move up. So that
it tells me that they are looking for the future, which every NFL team does. I don't care who you are, you're always looking for the future. I even go back, this Baltimore Sports Nation, so I even go back to our guys. We had Joe Flacco under contract. Team looked like everybody said the same thing. All we need is a wide receiver. All we need is this. And what we do, we drafted a quarterback, and then
but
got tight ends.
That was different because
we were losing.
Y'all were losing.
But it's not different. But watch this though. It's kind of not different because I knew you was gonna say that. That's why I brought it up the way I did.
Okay.
So Baltimore went with an injury plague year when they went 5-11. Then we went 10-6. Then we go 9-7 and then 8-8. Right. So we're having regular seasons that are normal, but in the midst of those regular seasons, we're not getting into the playoffs. It's the same thing that happened with Green Bay. Green Bay were losing. They were like 7-9, 8-8. Couldn't get into the playoffs at that last playoff spot. They bring in a brand new coach. They go 13-3 last year. And then you make a decision because out of 3 years in a row before the last year, when the new rookie coach comes in, you make a decision saying, I'm going to go with what? New quarterback?
But remember, another difference was this. They just gave him the 4-year extension last year. You don't give him an extension last year and then draft his they would have never done that in New England.
No, they wouldn't have. They just would have never gave an extension to Brady and drafted 3 quarterbacks anyway.
There you go. They gave you an extension saying that you're our guy. But then we're gonna draft your replacement the same time we're telling you you're our guy. That's like when you at work and you know that you're training your replacement.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, we just gave you $2 extra, but this young man right here is gonna replace you next year.
We really like him, and we need you to train him up to be your, in the same position that you are. We need him to be
That's
like
what they did to that man, and he don't deserve that. It's Aaron Rodgers, man.
But could I said the same thing about Brett Favre? Did he deserve that? I give you a perfect person, right, who's done something like this before, and it actually worked. Bill Walsh, San Francisco 49ers. You had Joe Montana. You got an opportunity to get better. You don't bring in a wide receiver, an offensive lineman, or another all-world running back. You bring in
Steve Young.
Steve Young.
Steve Young.
And it's like, yo, you got Steve Young behind me. Steve Young is pretty damn good. And he has a dynamic to him that nobody had at the time. He could run a little something. So it's like, yo, what do? You can get a second quarterback and say, I'm going to make myself even greater because this challenge is here now. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. So, but it worked. It worked in Green Bay too. It works. It works in some cases. But again, I've never seen somebody get an extension and then do it. They were like on that last end of that contract when it was like, all right, this is what's going to be. You got your 2 years left, your 3 years left. We're going to get him. We're not going to give you an extension. He's going to play this out, and then we'll see how it goes from here. You got to go. You got to go.
So
they did.
I think he's going to be gone. I think it all depends on how the season works out. Like if they have a good season, it's hard to get rid of him and just say, "Oh, he's gone." You got to find a valuable piece to return to because he's still worth plenty. I still think he's a top 3 quarterback in the game because when he's healthy, he's going to do his thing.
You can get first round. You can get some first round picks of Michael Gallup.
Talking at Dallas.
And a dude with the neck. We can give you Van Ness.
Yo, that's a lot. I don't know. I think they're going young down there. I don't know about that young though. I think they'll go with Gallup though because they want them weapons for love. But we'll see.
Bring him over there, and you talk. We got a CD with Cooper. We good. He can probably swing us.
Go ahead, Dallas. We'll see. But look, let's go here. Keeping it on NFL. We got to talk about fantasy football. I know I've been in a little bit of a funk with it, but
you've been dead.
I will be okay. We will be okay by next week. We'll be okay. So let's go here. Fantasy football talk. BSN style. Right? We talking wide receivers. It's a lot of wide outs. They put up a lot of numbers in the NFL. I'm going with the best barber, man. Give me your 5.
5 fantasy.
Your fantasy wide out.
Not regular, fantasy.
5 fantasy wide out.
Number 1 off the rip is Michael Thomas as a fantasy guy. He gives you the PPR numbers. He gives you all the catches in the world. He's going to give you the 1,000 yards and a touchdown. Number 2 off of quarterback alone, I would draft Tyreek Hill if it was me, just because of the deep threat and the explosiveness that he does have. Number 3, you can't go wrong with Julio because Julio has been doing what Julio has been doing all his career in Atlanta. He just don't give you the touchdowns that you need because he keep going to the tight ends. Number 4 would be D-Hop. Now, I got to see how this works in Arizona, but it seems like anybody they put in the front of D-Hop, he does what he do, and I think it's going to be a breakout season for Kyler Murray. So I'm going to go there. And number 5, fantasy-wise, I'll say, God, I'm going to go Chris Godwin. I'm going to go Chris down in Tampa because Mike Evans can't stay healthy. I would have said Mike for fantasy-wise, but no, I changed that. Sorry, Sports Nation. I'm gonna go Adams because there's only one person in Green Bay. I'll go Adams, and that'll be my 5th one.
So I'm gonna go mine because it's all based off of everyone being healthy, no issues, just where we started at and seeing where we go. Number 1, Michael Thomas. They're gonna throw the ball to him. He is the target. He is the weapon. He is the receiver in maybe the NFL overall. Number 2, Devontae Adams, because when he's healthy, he getting all the targets too. Because I don't give a damn about anybody else up there. When they healthy, him and A-Rod are healthy, guess what? They going to work, and it
He
ain't
getting the
nothing
ball.
he can do. He gonna get the ball. Number 3, I don't care if he's in some new digs. I actually think it's gonna be better for him because that's all they want to do in Arizona, and that is DeAndre Hopkins. He is the 3rd fantasy
Okay.
wide receiver for me, and it's gonna look real nasty when now you gotta respect Larry Fitzgerald in the middle. Oh, who
And
got
Kirk.
one on the outside? We got Nuke. We're gonna go see what's gonna happen. Uh this is my 4th guy. People slept on him because he was hurt, and he's back. My man, Mr. Cup, Cooper Cup, out
I
there
like Cooper.
with the Rams. That's number 4, fantasy wise. That's my guy. I think he's gonna be back to doing what he does. And number 5, it's a tough one. And the reason why it's a tough one is because I don't know how it's gonna play out this season. Remember, it's all based off of health. I don't know how it's gonna play out this season because there's a new quarterback out there. Keenan Allen.
Keenan Allen.
When he's healthy,
He's a monster.
his fantasy numbers are crazy. But this is the
He's a
year that he's
monster.
supposed to be hurt because last year he was healthy. This year he's supposed to be hurt. So
Yeah. He's no. He's been hurt. He's been actually played 2 straight years. I had him give you for last. You had him last year. He didn't get hurt 2 years straight.
yeah,
2 years straight. But you know, it's just I gotta see the quarterback first before I say him. I love to say him. You know, I got my honorable mention is the guy behind me. Okay, no digs. We know the only person they're gonna throw the ball to.
it's Thielen. Nah, they're gonna
It's
throw the ball
Thielen.
to Rudolph too.
Yeah, but we know big plays gonna go to Thielen and that's the so I'm gonna go him. So, but yeah, I think we pretty much got the same. Other than you had.
I got an honorable mention for you, and I only reason why I say this is because I know what they want to do in Dallas, and that's still throw the damn ball.
Yeah,
Amari Cooper is going to be special.
too many weapons.
No,
Too many weapons.
because remember in fantasy, you getting 6. He gonna get 6. That's one thing I give him. He gonna get 6. And you
Yeah,
gonna
but
give him and Julio as
look
well.
at
No disrespect to
look at
Julio. Julio gonna get his too.
look at last year. Him, Cooper, Gallup, and Randall Cobb was 120 yards from 1,000 yards last year.
Mm-hmm.
The ball gets spread around so much in Dallas that yeah, he's gonna get his numbers, but I don't think that his numbers will be consistent enough each game for me to put him there. That's my thing with him. He might give you that one game when it was 10 catches, 200 yards. He'll give you another game and it was 2 catches for 30 yards.
Let me ask you this question real quick. Give me a sleeper person, fantasy wide receiver wise.
This is my sleeper. Sleeper. I don't want to call him a sleeper because of what he did last year, but the guy that I'm looking at still is DK.
Okay.
DK Metcalf is still growing, and we know that Lockett is the number 1 guy down there. And with them having those 2 tight ends, I think DJ Metcalf is just a guy that's just gonna have a really, really, really crazy season. His season, because remember he was starting to grow at the end of the season, and it's between either him or Brown from
Tennessee. Yeah, I agree with that totally. I definitely agree with that totally. It's not really a secret because we know about him, but Diggs getting the first start in Buffalo.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
That's my guy, and my other sleeper is Terry McLaurin, another guy I think with a full year under his belt. Hey, look, I'm still ready, right? Even though I'm not fully gauged like I normally am, I'm still gauged, so I'm still there. But McLaurin is going to be special, and then my last one is Hollywood Brown. I think he has a breakout season this year because he's officially 100% healthy now compared to where he was in Oklahoma. He hasn't been healthy 100% for damn near 3 years, and he still gives you that spark. So I think with a full season and a brand new body, he's back healthy the way that it was. I truly think that he's gonna have a breakout year this year.
Well, if we and like I said, we basing it off of fantasy. Um, and I'll say this too, because with them having uh Teddy Bridgewater, and I don't like giving up a lot of my information on this internet because I deal with 10 other guys that watch this show.
Mm-hmm.
But with Teddy Bridgewater being he's accurate. His deep ball might not be that great, but he likes to throw cut passes, post moves, 10 and outs. DJ Moore have a good damn season, man.
You know what's funny? He said he don't want to give all his information. I guess I can't put this show out there because what I was going to do in about a week, I was going to have a BSN Presents Fantasy Football where we did a top 10 breakdown of the fantasy guys, but I can't do it because he doesn't want to. Oh my God, this guy is so terrible.
It's too much because we brothers, but boy, when people don't really know, man, behind this fantasy football,
yeah,
we a lot of enemies, man.
We get heated and shit. Look,
I'm known for
back there, Paul.
Me and you are known for being big strategists when it comes down to fantasy.
I'm not giving out no more secrets.
No, that's it.
I just want to do a breakdown.
I gave y'all something, but see what we gave them was what they knew. I think the McLaurins and the DJ Moores was the ones that we should have kept in the pocket. And then with you, you done got your Cooper Cup stole from you last year, so I think you shouldn't have mentioned his name.
I know. God damn, I know. It was hurtful too.
He got stolen from you last year, but that's it for all my fans, all the people who want to know something about fantasy football. No more. You'll just catch all clean.
The best barber in the game is letting you know about his fantasy strategy. It's nothing wrong. It's nothing wrong with that. But look, this has been another good show, another one in the books here for BSN Presents Tell the Truth. I appreciate you coming on with me, man. And it's been real
definitely,
good.
man. Anytime.
We're gonna get another one in. Hopefully by next week. We might make this a weekly thing on Thursdays. I don't know.
Yeah, we got to.
But shout out to everybody that tuned in. Shout out to all those who are gonna check us out. We're gonna be on YouTube at BSN Presents. All you gotta do is just go on there, click and subscribe. Eddie, tell all your people to watch it to click and subscribe. The show's is gonna be on YouTube. It's gonna be fun, man. So
if we can try to make it a consistent Thursday thing, like around about this time, everybody just stay tuned and we can keep it going this way because it seems like it's a lot more easier for me and you to get on, and hopefully our other comrades can jump on too.
Yeah, we can get them on too, but no matter what, your boy G Fizz gonna be here. Baltimore Sports.
The show must continue.
The show must go on. That's how we do it here. We gotta keep it rolling. But I appreciate everybody that came in once again, and we're gonna check y'all out next time. Go to the link, go to YouTube, subscribe, click the subscribe button, hit the little notification. You gotta get on there. We're gonna see y'all later, man. We out.